Throwing axes in mead. What a great idea. Now, I got this idea from one of you, Mike, a follower of the channel who I've gotten to know very well, sent me 2 bottles of mead free of charge. He said, Wes, don't worry about it. It's for the axe gods. I said, okay, sounds good, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Got halfway through the first bottle. I said, man, this would be a great idea to bring you guys a new bottle every week, try it on camera, and I'll showcase one of my personal axes, or maybe an axe I've done a review on and I've got some time behind now, or more time behind, and I can give you guys some more information on it or some more personal thoughts on it. Also, I thought in this video series I could give you guys a personal story of mine each time I do a video. Maybe axe related, maybe not. Funny, craziness, you know, that kind of thing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Welcome back to Midgard Axe, guys. I am Wes, the Suburban Viking. Dave's not here. I decided I wanted to be selfish on this one, so I left him out. If you guys want me to incorporate him in this series, I will, but this one's going to be just me. So Helderberg Mead Works in Duanesburg, New York. That's who we're sponsoring here today. Well, not sponsoring, guys. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm just showcasing their mead. I've already been through one bottle. Man, it was good. Man, it was good. And I will say Mike gave me a choice. He sent me the mead list, guys. And if you don't know, go check these guys out. They are up in Duanesburg, New York, and I'll put their information up on the screen. Now, they don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. There was no exchange of information. They did not sponsor this. I'm just going to do this every week and bring you guys new bottles. Thought it'd be cool. Pretty cool. Now, I will tell you guys, I've already been through one bottle of mead from them. It was awesome. It was good. It was called Pillage, and it says on their website that that is the closest they could get to whiskey. And it is. It's pretty good. A little bit of a whiskey taste. It does have a burn at the end, and it has a really strong honey flavor. It was great, and I love mead. So does Dave. But today we are featuring the maple. You guys can see here, maple. Helderberg Mead Works Maple. From what I understand, on their website, this has a maple taste, of course, with a smoky flavor. And I will tell you guys, I got the 2 bottles that have the most alcohol content. I think they're either 17 or 18%. I think they might have had one at 19, but pretty good mead, guys. So without further ado, let's open it up, pour me a glass and taste it, and then we'll get into the axe. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off here. And guys, the story that I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to be a big sissy and open in this. The personal story that I want to add into this video is about this right here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's pretty nasty. I had to go to the ER for that one. So I'm babying it because it was deep. I'm talking real deep. So I'm trying not to tear anything. And that's another reason why I'm making this series. Because it gives me some content to make, because I've got to wait for this. We'll get into this later. So let's go ahead and open this up, and we'll take our $5 Walmart bottle opener here. I really do need a new bottle opener, guys. This one right here isn't hitting on much. Maybe I'll get a really cool one from the Sons of Vikings store that's near me. If you guys don't know, I live next to what's called Sons of Vikings. It's a Viking store, and they're pretty cool people. I bought some stuff in there, so pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so we got it open with our $5 Walmart bottle opener, and of course we got our $5 Walmart bottle topper there. Okay, so let's just... Man, that smells really good. And guys, I'm not an aficionado with this stuff. I just pour it and drink it. So if you're expecting me to like tilt it a certain way so the air flows in there like wine or something, I don't get into all that. I'm just going to drink it. But I will tell you guys, it smells really good. So let's go ahead and pour ourselves a glass here. A healthy glass. All right, so let's smell it in the cup here. You can smell the maple. You can really smell that maple. And the honey. Maple and honey is the first 2 things, which, you know, mead, guys, always usually has honey in it. I'll be honest with you guys, if I could just drink this for the rest of my life, I'd be fine with this. I love mead. Mead is some of the best stuff ever, and it's just so nice. And the cool thing about Helderberg Mead Works is that they got all kinds of different flavors. I'll put their flavor list up now, so you guys can take a look at everything they offer, which is really daggone cool. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. That is freaking delicious. Holy crap. You better take that bottle away from me. I could go through this bottle quick. It's very sweet. I will say that. It's very sweet. You can really taste the honey. You can taste the maple, which I love maple flavored anything, especially at breakfast. Breakfast time. I love maple flavored anything. But you can definitely tell that it's got a lot of honey in it and it's maple flavored. It does have a little bit of a smoky aftertaste. Get caught in my beard or my mustache there. Moving this out of the way. This thing's getting long. Get out of here. I'm not cutting my beard or my mustache anytime soon, guys. So if you're wondering, did get a haircut. You guys don't notice or not? I cut the whole back of it off and cut it down real short. I get tired of that flap in the back. So I went ahead and just took it all off. I like it like this better. And if you guys want to know the reason why I had this haircut, it's got nothing to do with Viking stuff. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Of course, I know the Vikings didn't really have these haircuts. I know that. You don't have to tell me that. But as you guys know, I've told you previously, I was in the military. And I used to get high in tights all the time. And I just stuck with it. The haircut stuck. I love it. I hate having hair on the sides of my head. I just can't stand it. I really can't. And this is the best haircut I could find that I really enjoyed, with having hair on top but none on the sides. Go back in history and look at me since I was like, 19, 20 years old. I've had a high and tight. It wasn't until probably about 4 years ago I started shaving the sides completely on the side because I don't have to get a haircut as often. So it worked out really well. And then I kind of grew it out to a ponytail. I didn't like that either, so I cut it off. Guys, this is just, let's just go ahead and go for it. Move the mustache out of the way so I don't get everywhere, because I got to do that. And we'll go ahead and give it a quick chug. Got some sips in there. I got about this much left in the cup. So we'll go ahead and give it a quick chug and see what it tastes like doing that. So good. So good, guys. That is delicious. Sorry if I'm slapping and smacking into the mic. It's kind of hard not to when I got all this hair going in my mouth, but I got a little bit left. I'll smell like mead for the rest of the day. That's not a bad thing. Man, that's so good. You guys can check out Helderberg Mead Works in New York and Dwaynesburg, New York. And Mike, thank you so much for this. I gave Mike a shout out with the other bottle Pillage on TikTok, but because I decided to do a series, I figured I'd wait until now. So Mike, thank you very much. And just so you guys know, I am not going to try everything everybody out there sends me. Just don't even send me anything. I've gotten to know Mike very well over a long period of time, and I trusted his judgment. So don't be sending me no weird stuff in the mail and just expecting me to just drink stuff from random people. I love you guys. I do. But I know there's some crazies out there. I'm not oblivious to that. And I'm not just going to drink anything anybody sends me. So, but I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys watching. This is pretty cool. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and pour ourselves a little more of this, because this stuff is really good. And if I'm slurring my words at the end of this video, we'll just have to get over that, okay? So the axe that I want to show you guys is, I've touched on it once before in the 2 years I've been on social media. This is not my very first axe, okay? I will say that. I don't even think I remember what my very first axe was that I used to throw with. It was random hatchets here and there that I had years and years and years ago. And I'll be honest with you, this axe I'm about to show you is the axe that got me into my dynamic throwing, my dynamic axe throwing. Now, I did stand still, just kind of tossing it like this for a couple years. and I really didn't get crazy with it. It wasn't until I got into this axe I'm about to show you, which drove the way to making Midgard Axe. It is unconventional in a lot of ways. Other ways it kind of follows what I still do, but it's an awesome flying axe. It really was, and I did it by mistake. But it ended up being a great throwing axe. And that axe is this one right here. I've showcased it before once, and told you guys that it was up on my wall. I think I used it on a background over there when I had like, 3 or 4 axes. I said it was retired. This thing is retired. As you guys can see, I have beat the ever-loving hell out of this axe. Now, getting into this thing and what it is. Okay, so like the Cova Blackthorn, remember when I did a review on the Cova Blackthorn, I said that it was a inward swept handle, unlike the Francisca axe, which has a outward swept handle. This one has an inward swept handle. And I did it on purpose because I liked the way that it felt in my hand. Now, I will tell you guys, in my experience, just telling you, an inward swept handle can be beneficial because when you hold this in your hand, as you can see here, it moves the axe head this way. So if you have a heavier axe in line, it will actually adjust the weight, moving the axe head this way with an inward swept handle, kind of like Cova Blackthorn. So it can take a heavier axe head and make it feel not as heavy, if that makes sense. If you were to take that same axe head and put it on an outward swept handle and you put it in your hand, it'd be sitting back like this, right? Or it'd be sitting right here where it swoops back like this. It would feel a little bit heavier, which is why I think the Francisca axe has such a light head, because of the way that the handle's shaped. Just my opinion, guys. Throwing this thing for 2.5 years on this handle. Not kidding. You guys want to know where I got this handle from? This is a hickory handle from Home Depot. Now, I know you're saying, well, it doesn't look like one. I thinned it down. It was a 28-inch felling axe handle that I thinned down and swept this way. This axe right here paved long distance axe throwing for me. And the reason why it paved the way is because this is the very first axe that I used to start throwing for distance and trying to be consistent. Now, this axe is coming in at 22 inches and it weighs 2 pounds and 1.5 ounces. Now, I will tell you, with a bunch of the wood taken out, chunks taken off down here at the handle, it was probably a little bit heavier than that, probably more like 2 pounds, 3 or 4 ounces, but we've shaved a lot off in the 2.5 years I've been throwing it. If you guys don't know, you can go back into my shorts list on YouTube, and if you want to go check out TikTok, I've got some of my very first shorts were made with this axe here. I retired it because it started getting beat up too much and I wanted to keep it for sentimental reasons. The axe head itself is a German head. I do remember that, but I don't remember what kind of German head it was. I just remember that it's a German head, okay? Hafted it on this thing with a steel barrel wedge up in at the top, and it's just performed really well. I was able to throw the inward swept handle great. It's ugly. It's nasty, and it's nasty looking now, but it was such a cool axe when I first designed this handle and hafted it on the head. I was very proud of myself. Kind of looking at it now, I'm going, what the hell was I thinking? However, it just performs, and it worked out really well. Like I said, this axe here, and I'll give you guys some close-up shots of it and roll B-roll in now of it. It just worked out really well. I was throwing that thing for triple, quadruple rotations. This is one of the axes that I really started throwing at like 80 feet. And this is what paved the way for my long-distance axe throwing, like I said. 80 feet got me good. I was very consistent with it, and I just practiced over and over and over with this thing. So you can imagine throwing this thing for distance, right? And then going to like a 15-inch hatchet. You know, this was no easy throw. Going back and looking at things now, that was probably the worst axe I could have used for axe throwing or for distance throwing. However, Not only did it pave the way for me for long distance axe throwing, but it also paved the way for me to do my curved axe throw. And I'll throw in a video, which I cannot believe I still have. It's vertical, so it's going to fit weird on your screen, but I saved it. I don't know why I saved it, but I went back and found it. So I'll put it on the screen now of me curving this axe all the way back on my driveway. And what I did was I set my camera up and I threw at the camera. Took a big risk because I thought, could break the camera, but I thought I could curve it in front of it and not hit it, which I did. And it kind of showcases how you can curve an axe. Now, it doesn't curve a ton. Like I told you guys before, you're getting about a foot, maybe a foot and a half of movement at that distance. If you're good, 2 feet. I'm anywhere between like a foot and 2 feet of a curve throwing for distance. And the farther you go back, the easier it is to do. But this thing right here, guys, paved and made me. It made Midgard Axe. It made what this channel is all about here. So without that thing, I don't think I'd be sitting here making this video. So I love this thing. This thing was awesome. It still is, even though it's atrocious looking. And every time I look down at it, I'm going, I don't know how that thing survived 2.5 years of axe throwing, but it did, guys. Like I showed you before. I mean, look at this knob. I mean, it's just sheared in half, but it stopped here. I mean, if you look over here at this side here, I mean, look at that. It is just nasty. It's barely still hanging on. It really is. I mean, it's on. It's not moving, but it's nasty and crude up there. It really is. I've got space in here from the wood shrinking from getting wet and me not oiling it properly. So it expanded, and then as it dried, it shrank too much. But yeah, just a great handle. Home Depot handle. Tell you guys, you can never tell how an axe handle is going to perform just by looking at it. We have good indicators to tell us that a handle's good or not. Vertical grain, no grain run out, all that good jazz, dents, all that. But that is not always the case. And looking at this thing, I would never buy that handle now. Held up for 2.5 years. And I will tell you guys, I missed all the time with that thing, throwing for distance. Bouncing it on the ground, smacking the knob on the target, beating the shit out of that handle. And it survived and worked. What can I say? What a great flyer. What a great flyer, even though it's not supposed to be. Great flyer. I don't know if it's me or not, but that is tasting better and better every time I drink it. God, I'm glad I picked that. Maple. That's good. So let's get into the story and what's going on with my hand. Okay, so that morning I got up and decided that I was going to start a new review on an axe that I have. And I told my wife I was going to go to the woods and film the dynamic entry for this axe. Now, if you guys don't know what dynamic entry means, some of my axe reviews, it's not anything like particular. I just, when I feel like doing it, I do it. I will go into the woods and I will showcase the axe and some of my axe throws for the axe review. And, there's no specific thing about it. I just like doing it. I don't have any filming experience, but I enjoy doing it. So sometimes I'll just choose a random one and go do it. And just so you guys know, the woods that I go and throw at, I know some people might have issues with me throwing axes into trees. Those trees are being logged soon. The whole area is being logged. So I'm utilizing what I can with those things while I got them. Just FYI. So I got up that morning, grabbed the axe, grabbed all my stuff, packed it up, went to the woods, started filming. Now I noticed when I was filming, when I was out in the woods, that the axe was just being weird. And I know I've talked to you guys about certain things that have happened living in this house and things that surround me. You can believe me or not. It is what it is, but people around me, my close relatives and my friends know what's going on around me in this house and what's always been going on around me. I got that feeling that after filming in the woods, even though I finished, I walked out of those woods with the feeling of just red flags were shooting out left and right. They were. And normally speaking, probably about 8-9 years ago, I started really listening to my intuition. That voice in your head that goes, I know some people think it's crazy, but that voice in your head that's like, hey, don't take that road, or maybe you should find a different way to work this morning, or maybe you should wait 10 minutes before you leave the house. I know everybody has that stuff. I really started listening to it, and I thought, you know what? Sometimes I'm coming home from work and I'm like, hey, don't take that road. Yeah, it's out of the way. And it's out of the way by 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever the case may be, but it's never let me down. And I've been doing it for 8 or 9 years now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start listening to this. And it, for the most part, hasn't steered me wrong. This day, I didn't listen to that. I said, look, I got the day off. I need to film. As you guys know, I told you I'd put 2 to 3 videos out a week. I've been only able to do 1 because 4 kids, a wife, and a full-time job, guys. It's really hard for me to get out 2 full videos because it takes a lot for me to set up everything, edit, so on and so forth. So I was pushed past it. Nope, not listening to you. I've got stuff to do today. So I got out of the woods. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I know that feeling. Something's telling me to chill. Something's not right with this axe. Something just isn't okay that day. And I can feel it. So much so that when I got home from the woods, came inside and I told my wife when I was grabbing the stuff to bring outside, Dave and, his Viking helmet that he had to have to set it up out there and the shields and everything. I told my wife, I said, something just doesn't feel right. And she looked at me and she said, maybe you should stop. Maybe you should take the rest of the day off. And I said, I can't. I take today off. I'm not going to be able to film for another 3 or 4 days. And guys, that means that I don't put out a video that week. In hindsight, I look at it and I go, well, that's silly. Like, some people are going to say, well, social media isn't everything. Guys, I only put out 1 video a week. So I was like, I really need to do this. So got everything out, set it up outside, got my shields out, got my sign up. I was ready to go. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I took this thing out to the woods was that the axe was performing weird. I had sharpened the bit prior to going out there, but that was it. But the axe, even though it had a work edge, it was like 30 degrees, 32 degrees work edge, it had fairly thin cheeks. And it was razor sharp. But every time I would stick the bit, it didn't want to stick, which I found odd. I looked at the cheeks and I looked at the bit and I said, and you guys know I started axe throwing on work axes, not dedicated throwing axes. So I'm used to throwing thick bits and thick cheeks. It's not something new to me. And this axe has thinner cheeks and a thinner bit profile than most work axes that I've thrown. And it was just odd that it didn't want to stick sometimes into soft wood. And I was just like, man, this thing's weird. So I got home, set up, started throwing. And I'm throwing, sticking the bit, no big deal. I set up for single rotations. At this point in time, guys, I don't have the camera rolling. Like I told you guys, sometimes I will take a 2-day span of throwing an axe, and then maybe like halfway through the second day, that's when I turn the camera on and start filming. This day, I filmed B-roll in the woods, came back and started filmed B-roll that day, came back and just started throwing without the camera on. Threw it for a while, single rotations, just trying to get an idea how this thing was working, how it felt, so on and so forth, because I want to get a feel for the axe without the camera on. Sometimes I enjoy that. It's not about not wanting to showcase it. It's more about me needing to feel good about the axe. Get into it, just me and the axe. Nothing else, no camera, no people, no nothing. Isolated in my backyard, just me and the axe, throwing hard, doing trick throws, so on and so forth. So I get back there and I start throwing and I said, okay, I think I'm ready now. Man, was I wrong. Now, at this point in time, I normally don't set up for double and triple and quadruple rotations with an axe because I don't need to. Not toot my own horn, but I film what I film. Now, there are a lot of times where I'll throw an axe for maybe a double rotation, but most of the time I stay at a single rotation just to get a feel for an axe before I turn the camera on. I don't need to warm up at double and triple and quadruple rotations before the camera comes on because I just don't need to. I've been throwing for so long. So I'll stay at a single rotation just to get a feel for the weight, the handle design, so on and so forth. So I set up with the axe at a single rotation, start throwing. Now, I don't think I can put the video on YouTube because I'll probably get demonetized and maybe even get a strike because of this here. As you can see, it's pretty nasty. It's a pretty nasty cut there. So I set up for single rotation, turned the camera on, started rolling. Threw into my big log, no issues. No issues at all. Went to the wood round. Now, I've been throwing axes for, I really don't even know how long I've been throwing axes. I will say dynamically, over 4 years. 3, 4, 5 years. I've been throwing really hard, dynamic for about that long. And I'm talking on a weekly basis, 2, 3 times a week. I've had bounce backs, comebackers, ricochets, whatever you want to call them. I've had them before. I've had them come back at me to the left, to the right, die where they sit, fall to the ground, come up in the air a little bit, fall down, whatever the case may be. I've had any bounce back or ricochet you can think of, I've experienced. I've never experienced a bounce back that I got from this axe, this dedicated throwing axe. Now, I will tell you guys, it's an all steel axe. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because when this heals, I'm going back and I'm going to conquer that throwing axe. I'm not giving up on it. But man, this thing bounced back at me. I put some force into this throw. And I've never seen an axe come back at me almost as fast as I've thrown it in a straight line. I am not kidding. Dave wanted to tell me it was part of Loki's plan to end this channel, which I think he might be drinking too much mead, but I've never experienced a bounce back like that before. And as you guys know, when I set up to throw hard, when I come back and throw, all of my weight is coming forward. So that's where I get a lot of my power from, is that my whole body is driving the axe throw into the target. So what that means is that my weight is coming up on my front foot, my left foot. Normally speaking, in the past, when I've had bounce backs like that, they're very soft. They're not very fast. They're maybe a quarter of the speed coming back at me. So I have plenty of time and reaction time to get out of the way. All my weight being on my front foot, being that close to the target, I didn't have a choice. Threw the axe, the bit hit the target, and the next thing I know, it is coming right back at my face. Natural reaction, put my hand up like this. I'd rather it hit my hands, of course, and comes back, boom, and I ricochet the axe like this to get it away from my body. I think we're just programmed that way. You know, a lot of people get into bad situations. The first thing they do is protect their head. Your brain is your, the brains of the operation. You know, wants to protect itself. That's the first thing that I do. Of course, it was coming this way, so I saw it, directed the axe this way, and pushed it this way. Now, I will tell you guys, I had just resharpened that axe to start filming. That's not something that I commonly do. Normally speaking, I will sharpen an axe when I start throwing and then turn the camera on. I don't know why this day I decided to sharpen it before I started filming again for the second time. I normally don't do that, which brings me into some red flags were shining everywhere. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, the axe comes back. I redirect it out of the way. Soon as I throw it out of the way, my mind goes, hey, your hand could have hit the bit. I will tell you guys, that's how sharp it was. I didn't feel anything. I felt the axe hit my hands and push it away, but it wasn't like I felt anything like, oh my gosh, my hand, nothing. Redirect it, and the first thing I said was, I need to check my hands. So I redirect it, go back to my hands, and as soon as I pull my hand up, I mean, it's literally running down to my elbow. Grab my hand, squeeze it, come inside. Wife was not happy. Wife was not happy at all, for the simple fact that, I did this, and then there's a trail, the back steps, laundry room, kitchen, countertop. It's just everywhere. I will tell you guys, this is a little embarrassing. It is. And I'm not going to lie, it is. I've been throwing axes for a really long time. This isn't something that happens all the time. But I'm not going to keep it from you. This is real life. And I'm going to tell you guys what happens in my personal life and things that go wrong. Even the most skilled people have accidents. Even the most skilled people, things go wrong. We're not perfect. And like I told you guys before, I do miss. Even though I stuck the bit into the target, I don't know how this thing came back at me. It was strange. And going back and watching the video, I'm not really sure what I could have done differently. The bit stuck. It hit. It just wasn't having it. Came back at me and got me. So in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to order some bracers, some arm bracers, some medieval arm bracers. It'll look kind of cool. Kind of go over my hand here, go down my arm to my elbow, and then I've got a pauldron to go on my shoulder that's going to cover my left arm. So that way when I'm up close throwing hard, if I have a bounce back, I'll just throw my arm up, case closed. Stay tuned because the next video is going to be about how you throw with your non-dominant arm, my left hand, and some of the cool throws that I can do with my non-dominant arm, which I impressed myself in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the personal story. I'll do some crazier stuff before, like my military times. I've got some really good stories to tell you guys about my military past and some of the crazy and cringe stories that went on during that time and personal life stories that I think relate to this channel, axe throwing wise, and all kinds of different stuff, guys. But remember, this is axe throwing. Anybody doing that is going to miss at some point, and they're going to put themselves or their body in risk, at risk, I should say. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. And it's not just social media for me, guys. I've been doing this long before social media started. It's a love of the axe. A love of the axe, especially axe throwing. And even if I decided tomorrow I was going to stop doing social media, this would still go into that target in the backyard and the front yard because it's not about fame or getting attention or anything like that for me. It's just the love of the axe. If you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know. If you guys like this, I will do it once a week. I have no problem doing this. I have tons of axes that I can showcase. Personal axes that you guys have never seen. So, and I've got some more information on some of the axes that I reviewed that I've been throwing off camera because yes, as you guys know, I tell you I throw axes on camera once a week, but there are times where I go outside for about an hour or two and throw axes off camera. I just don't have anything to talk about. Come back and watch the next video. I got about a year or two's worth of work with my non-dominant arm because I think it's important to be able to throw with your non-dominant arm, and I'll show you guys what I can do and some tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way that might help you if you're interested in throwing with your non-dominant arm, and how you can set yourself up with two axes with your non-dominant arm to throw that main power throw with your dominant arm. Or if you're holding that shield. Pretty cool. Can't wait to get into all this with you guys. This Mead's working on me. I need to get out of here. All right, guys. Till next time. See ya.